Happy New Year to you, Mark. What's up, Kie? Just made my coffee, so I'm still waking up. I was up late last night. Later than I meant to be. Playing around with Ableton. I got Andy's Thermae plugin set up. And then that just became a rabbit hole. It's pretty sweet, gotta say. Finally getting MIDI set up on the Chase Bliss pedals was long overdue, but definitely worth the effort it took. Not that it was that difficult, I just didn't do it for a while. But now I don't need to use Ribbon anymore. I have a MIDI channel set up for all the pedals. So there's nothing on Habit yet because there's no plugin for it yet, but it's there. I'm gonna try to learn. From my understanding, is you can basically open you can open a plugin and basically, like, you know, depending on how complex it is, reverse engineer it. And some other people have made Chase Bliss plugins for the Max for Live, and this is taking a while to open. I think from the multiple sources, and if I try to figure out how to make them, then I might be able to make something simple for Habit. That's the goal anyway. And actually, I was wondering, so yeah, you can open it in Max. This is it's funny. Hey, Robin. So yeah, I haven't gotten any further than this, but very curious to learn. Like how this all works. So I'm gonna try to learn it and then see what I can do. For now, I just have a blooper control. Should be able to hear if that's working. Good morning. There we go. So this is controlling volume. I did have some issues with these syncing. I don't know if they're just old, but older plugins that haven't been updated. I turn up stability. So anything that I do here in live, it sends it as a MIDI signal to the pedal. So I have blooper channel 2. Tonal recall is not set up. There's also not a plugin for tonal recall. So I might try to make one for that. I figured I'd be surprised if somebody wasn't working on Habit, but maybe there won't be a tonal recall one because it's discontinued. So I'll start making something. My plan is to start making something like this, simple, to just control the buttons for tonal recall. And then, but the problem is I only have 4 inputs on my MIDI box. So I mean, something's got to be odd man out. But anyway, Therme has Andy's plugin on it. Mood has a similar. Turn Mood on. You can hear it, which is, and the crazy thing about this is, even just with a simple LFO plugin in front of it, like, it's basically, I basically don't need rampers. I can basically have unlimited rampers for every single knob or button. And so the way this works is, even on one LFO you have 8, but then all those, like 8 mappings, but they would all have to use the same rate and the same type of sine wave or whatever. But I can just make multiple ones of these. Like, I can duplicate this. If I do this on Therme, you'll see. So right now, so I'm gonna turn that off. Right now I have, if you can see this, it's a little bit small. Actually, that's not great. I wonder if I should move these around. I'll get rid of chat and move these over so you can see better. All right, that's as big as I can make it easily. So you have this. You have this first one. Yeah, it has been a little bit scary to me for a while, but I just decided to, I don't know, dive in at first. So here we are. It's really cool. I'm sure I'm only, using, I know I'm not even using it to its maximum potential, but to me this is already very fascinating. You totally get it. All right, so we have, yeah, I mean, the thing is too, right now, the reason I jumped on it was it's still on sale. It's still a disc. It's still not cheap, but it's not full price right now. So I decided to get it. And this will probably be the only thing I buy this year. I know famous last words, but unless I make money from something, I don't see. There's really nothing else that I really want. I think this will keep me busy for a long time, I guess, put it that way. So, so you can map. Basically click the map, it's blinking, click on the button, and now I have it set at like 40 to like 75%, so it's ramping 40 to 70% of the 0 to 127. If I did all 0% to 100, then it would ramp that whole thing. And it's automatically ramping based on this sine wave. So if we change that to random, you'll see right now it's the middle. Oops, just got an Amber Alert on my phone. Now it went up a little. Now it went up a little higher. You can see this jump around. So that's really cool. Because that's the thing that I was really frustrated by the Old Blood rampers is just there's square and triangle wave and then start and stop. But, you know, and that could do a lot. But I really want a sequencer. So it's like the 8-step where it can, like, you know, one step can be high, other steps can be low, or just high, low, you know, high, low, middle, kind of make up my own pattern for an LFO to be changing something. So I think I can do that. But then it also has all these different, you know, I can ramp up. So this is gonna just ramp all the way up and then jump back down. So I'll just leave it on sine for now. So you can kind of see it wobble back and forth. Now, if I want to apply this same sine wave and rate and everything to another thing like mix, I can just map it. And now I can change the percentage. So this one can go 0 to 100, while this one is going 20 to 78, but they're both still like linked together. It's going the same. They're hitting their top point at the same time and hitting their bottom point at the same time. So if I don't want that, I can create a separate one, map that to the mix. Let's say make that 0 and 100, and then I can change, or let's do 0 to like 60. And so now it's got a different rate and a different percentage, and I can change all this. I can make it a totally different thing. I can make it triangle. And now it's totally on its own thing. Then the other thing that's really cool is, and Andy showed this in the video, you can have MIDI clips, and each clip is, I made mine longer so it would go slower. You can set the length of each clip. There we go. This should be on init. Yeah, I messed that up. Now, so each one of these, I have to do these again. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Interval knob is what it should be. All right, so there we go. Octave. So each one of these controls like where, for the interval knob, number 1, controls what interval it's choosing. And so you could put this on any knob as well, and then any value. So you could do this with mix or the low pass filter or whatever. But it's on this middle knob. And the other piece of it is you have to say follow action, turn that on, and then hit any. And then what that will do is when you start playing one, when you start playing one, going? There we go. So now it's going octave 2. No, not yet. It's going to go to octave 2. should have made it shorter again, but yeah, I got standard and then I bought Max for Live separately. All right, this is not working. Where did my sound go? Also. Blooper stopped. I didn't save this. It's 2 octaves. So you actually have to set these to the right thing. What's up? Oh, I'm missing chat. Oh, everyone's just saying hi. What's going on? What is going on? I don't know. 6. Alright. So yeah, going back now. There we go. It queues up the next one. Now it should jump to 2. There, now it's working. So this interval is jumping around based on these clips that are randomly playing one after the other. So we can automate that or anything that way. And then you can also use these LFO MIDI things. So yeah, Alden, I was saying I got live and I want to learn how to make these. From what I could tell, at least on the Max for Live website, there isn't an official or there isn't any plugin for Polymoon yet. And there isn't one for Tonal Recall or Habit yet. So the only Andy and Chase Bliss authorized or endorsed plugin is this one. But then there's a blooper control. So am I ramping? Gonna ramp the volume on that. Then I've got a mood. Should ramp the mix on that. Here. So, wah. That's basically what I'm doing. And then somebody made a microcosm plugin. There's actually 2. Because this one is the more popular one. You can select. It's pretty sweet. So you can't see it, but I can just click around here and change which patch I'm using. And then this other plugin, I think they mostly work okay together as long as this one is second, because this one does select which patch, but I think this one will override it when I turn it on. but this one has access to all the knobs, so I can ramp stuff. Ideally, I may try to edit this one and add on the knobs. This one does have 4 mod options, so that if you click on one, right now it's ramping filter, min max, the shape again is sine, and then let's see, it's on. Yeah, it's not like a plugin for the pedal itself. It's only a plugin to control the pedal. Yeah, it's not if you didn't have the pedal, it wouldn't do anything. But the nice thing is these are free, so it's not like you're not buying once you have live and then max for live, the plugins are all free. So what I was getting frustrated with in Logic is I got this fader port controller, and it's just the one, they make an 8 and a 6 channel one. It's just the one channel one, and there's only one knob on it, but you can with Logic assign you can map any thing on the DAW, including like a plugin knob or whatever, to that button, but it's very clunky, and the process of then unassigning it and assigning it to something else is really clunky, and it just was very frustrating. If I had something, well, anyway, so this is what I have to work with, and so I was considering getting the SSL console, which is this like control panel that has a bunch of knobs, and then you can assign everything, and it works fine with Logic. It works fine. It works really well with the UA stuff. But that's another piece of hardware, and then it's still limiting, I felt like. Whereas, so this, I can go, I don't have my fader port turned on right now, but with a knob, I can go Apple M or Command M, whatever, which turns on the MIDI mapping. Like, Live just does this so much better. And then I'm looking at getting a box that has just a bunch of knobs on it, like 16 knobs that then are like, you can assign, it's connected USB, and then that's MIDI basically, and then you can assign like multiple like scenes, or it ends up being a lot more than just the physical knobs. But anyway, I'm probably going to get that at some point. And my goal is then to be able to assign, like have a set in Live for streaming, and have stuff connected so that I can just turn all the knobs right here for controlling. Like, for instance, I could say I can click on the send of the Ascend, which is a reverb plugin, and I can put it here. Actually, why don't I just turn this on? It should be fine. And then once I turn the knob, it's now assigned it. So now if you zoom in or look closely at this right here, this guy, I'm just now turning the knob on my fader port, and it's controlling it. So if I did something like, of course that doesn't have any knobs. Let's find a plugin. EQ. And I want to map. It's so much quicker to just boom, like, and now I'm controlling that. Yeah, so you can obviously use an LFO to control it automatically, but if I'm mixing and I just don't want to use the mouse and I want to use something physical to physically turn this, I'm trying to find something that would be bigger. Oh yeah, let's do one of these. So, should work with this too, I think. So I have to do that. Yeah. Oops. Okay. And that shows you all your controls here, all your maps. So now I've just got it on the mix knob, or let's do the decay knob. It's nice and big. And all you have to do is turn the knob in map mode, and it immediately selects it. Now, I can turn that big decay knob. I'm just turning the one knob on my fader port, and now I have physical control of the knob, which is awesome. That's what I wanted. That's all I want. That's all I wanted to do in Logic. And there's not an easier way to do it in Logic. It's very frustrating. Or I just don't know what I'm doing in Logic. But I was able to get this. I was able to figure this out in a DAW that I'm very unfamiliar with, like, pretty instantly. So. That stuff on. Yeah, this is live. This is not Logic. I just got it last night and then I stayed up way too late learning how to use it. Starting to learn how to use it, I should say. But then, yeah, it's like, then the fader, I still have fader control, so if I select, I can, on my fader, turn the guitar all the way down. So what's really cool is, like, now I can program anything to have physical access to the software without having to use a keyboard or mouse, which is that's what I was trying to do. I really just needed a good reason to justify switching. And when the Thermae plugin came out, I was like, okay, that's a good reason, but is it good enough to spend both the money, yes, but also the time? Because there's obviously still a lot I don't know about Live, and I'm going to have to spend a lot of time learning it. But with this now, if I can get to the point where I'm able to more quickly edit and you know, produce music, both the recording process and the editing process is faster. Like I said, by having that ability to have physical things controlling virtual things, then I think that's what makes it worth it to me. So yeah, you do need to, once you have Max, you do have to go download like these things. These plugins don't come stock, but they're free. So the LFO MIDI, there's an audio MIDI. There's an LFO audio plugin. So if you're on an audio channel, whoops, LFO, no, I think it's under. Yeah. So there's an audio. I wonder if I can map that to like this. Yep. So I can now. I'm. Let's slow this down. Now I'm modulating through this audio LFO the send of send A to my reverb plugin, which is cool because I could put that LFO on the reverb plugin itself. And then that would send it to everything. Like that would actually modulate the plugin itself. But by putting it on the channel and then linking it to the send, I could have another instrument and be using the reverb send and either not modulate the LFO for that or do it differently. So I could have like multiple channels, multiple instruments with separate LFO controls going to the same send using the same plugin chain, which that blows my mind. I didn't even conceive of that ever in the past 10 years of using Logic, and I've had live for 1 day. So to me, it just opens up a very humongous world of fascinating possibilities with, like I said, it's built obviously more as a live performance tool, but you could ramp all these plugins in a project that you're recording and then bounce that automation basically down, which is, that's exactly what I've been looking for. And it would be great if Logic would add some of that or make it a little more user-friendly for what's there. But I don't see that happening. But who knows? Maybe it just doesn't seem like they're as invested in that as, you know, they have a whole product line to worry about of phones and physical devices. Like, they can only put so much attention into their DAW that they provide free updates for a decade. Like, it can't be, I would imagine, a huge moneymaker for them. And so this is, whereas this is their flagship project of Ableton, like, well, at least software. And all the hardware is built to support it. So the other thing that I'm really interested in is, Alden, if you're still here. And actually, I did this for Logic, which now I need to do one for for Ableton. But I set up in Touch Portal like all these shortcuts. So again, when I was looking at controllers and I was like, do I really need to spend the money? I think combining Touch Portal for like shortcuts. So like, basically these are just mapped to keyboard shortcuts. So when I have Logic open, I can, hit record or use the transport control at the bottom. The fade is like choosing the tool, which it just uses the keyboard shortcut. Keyboard brings up the virtual keyboard. So all the stuff that I was using a mouse to use to do like multiple clicks to get to or having to try to remember the keyboard shortcut. Like, now I don't have to like fill my brain with, or like write down like, here's the shortcuts I need to do X, Y, and Z. It's just all there labeled, and I can just press a button that says keyboard, and then the keyboard will pop up. I can hit open mixer, and the mixer screen will pop up instead of having to remember it's the M or the X, I think, in Logic, which is, you know, like I said, like I've been using for Logic for 10 years, and there's still basic shortcuts. Since I'm not a full-time producer, like I'm not in it every day, I don't have those things secondhand. Now I kind of, you know, created a way to have those things secondhand where I don't need to memorize or remember them. I can just press a button and it'll go. And the other thing on this page is, even with 2 screens, like I have a lot of screens that are behind other screens. So now, like, if I have live up and I hit the touch portal button, it just brings it to the front. So now again, I don't have to use my mouse or keyboard or whatever to like, or I don't have to minimize something or move something to find this window. I can just have it hiding there and then just hit it when I want to see it, even if this is on my off screen behind OBS. So now I can have OBS basically full. I can hide Discord, my browser. I just saw Ken, you said soup PA. Alden got ya. I can have all this stuff open instead of having to minimize it. I can have it open, and then I can just very quickly, and I can also launch it. So I didn't have Ribbon open at all. Let me put it over here. Quit. So if it's not open and I hit the button, now it's open. Keeps opening over here, but then it actually opens up, which is awesome. But yeah, I can have it sitting. I can have stuff like Touch Portal, Sonobus, Ribbon, VS, not in the front. Check the Chunky Digis channel in Discord, Ken. And then just hit it, and it pops up. Boop. So that's really cool. And I'm very excited. I feel like those 2 things, like, revolutionized how easy it is for me to stream, which is important, and then how easy it's going to be to actually record music, which is important. The one thing I'm fascinated to learn how to do in Ableton is, can you record a live performance? I mean, you have to be able to, but the question is how. Like, so if I'm in, like, can I switch to arrangement mode, and then how would you like record a track here? I guess like arm all your tracks here and then record. So as this stuff is jumping around, it's basically recording the pass of it. For a MIDI, it's basically just recording the like it's recording what's happening, I guess, the events. But then any sound coming in, it's recording it just as a track. So for the example is, if I'm streaming and I'm like when Dan does a live looping thing and he's got percussion going, and could he also record that? I mean, I guess maybe it just happens automatically if you hit record, but I haven't tried that yet, so I'm interested to see how and what capabilities there are, more than just hitting record and, you know, having it just record the performance. But that would also be really cool, because then if I can have the audio recording in the background. The big thing before that was annoying was I was sending my audio just from the console, and so the stream has... What I'm trying to do is easily record just the audio in a DAW, and Logic again was just... It takes up more resources than live, and every once in a while it was just felt buggy. Like, even just the way that it changes audio drivers, like when you open something, it's like, oh, do you want to switch to this? And you have to keep hitting no. Live just handles that. I like how Live handles that better anyway. But I don't need my mic coming into Live. I have my mic going from console my interface basically right to OBS. So it still will be on the VOD, but if I can also record the music that I'm making separately very easily without having to think too much about it. That's the goal. Ugh. Anyway, I've been rambling. So yeah, I'm excited to start using this to record music as well as find interesting ways to use it on stream, and then building my own custom like soft synths, or whatever, like virtual instruments, whatever that ends up being. And then I think this will be really fun to play with, either building or modifying. Like, I'm somebody who I love like reverse engineering something. I like to open up the guts of something that's already exists and like figure out how it works. That's how I kind of learn, like, oh, okay, that's what this thing does. So unless it's just like so super complicated that I have to get some kind of base knowledge set from first, which I probably should do, I'd like to just jump in and try to figure stuff out. But this already is like so freaking cool, like by itself. Dan!
Alright, who did this?
Thanks.
I'm not mad, I just want to know who did it so I can punish them.
Sup, Kragers.
Dan, look what I'm doing. Oh, thanks for shouting Dan out. Hold on. I am like 99% committed to Ableton going forward. And I don't know when I'm gonna open Logic again, except to export projects into Ableton if I need to do it that way, that are in progress. But thanks for shouting me out. Yeah, a pretty significant reason, a pretty significant thing that got the gears turning in my brain to really seriously look at Ableton again was Dan's video that he made about, it's on YouTube, that he made about his like Ableton template. And it really like concretely kind of explained to me like how to set up a set in a usable functionality. And so from there, that plus these plugins, 39 tracks. Yeah, but like some of the things you said, just of like you can load all your samples in, and like Logic, I don't know why Logic just, there's so many things that are, it's just this, it only was my preferred DAW because it's what I knew. And I was so hesitant to spend the time learning something else because it was just so comfortable. But there's so many things that if you just are trying to use anything else with it, it just like doesn't want to play nicely with it. No, I never got into main stage. I know Dan was using main stage for a while, and then that stopped working or something, and that's why you ended up eventually switching to Ableton, I think. But Dan's video on Ableton, his template, was really like significant milestone for me to understanding. Yeah, definitely. To understanding how I could use this, because obviously I'm not doing the same thing yet, but I could see adding, like, I have the launch pad, so I could see myself doing percussion and synth and other like virtual instruments with that, and then, like I said, getting another controller that's just all knobs to control a bunch of things manually, while I also am using LFOs and other things to ramp pedals. Like, that to me is so significant. I tried it because I need to sell my bike. I mean, yeah, it felt a little bit like selling my soul to leave Logic, but I'm really, like, gonna force myself to be uncomfortable and be okay with not knowing how to do stuff, that instead of just saying, like, oh, it's so much easier in Logic, like, I'm mostly at the point where I'm using third-party plugins anyway, except for stuff like EQ, but this will push me even more in the direction of using, like, my Universal Audio plugins. There's a lot of cool stuff that comes with Ableton as well that I can probably take advantage of, that's built in. So it just opens up a lot of interesting things. And yeah, like I said, the Max for Live stuff is has a lot of potential for anybody doing generative anything, but especially ambient music. Like, this is for me the best way to how to not get bored using the same pedals. Like, this is gonna save me so much money not feeling like I need to buy another pedal to get a different sound. Like, I feel like this was about almost the price of a Chase Bliss pedal, you know, give or take, like, pretty much. And this is gonna save me from buying a lot of stuff that I would probably do in order to just try to, like, find something different out of my physical setup, because there's seemingly a limitless amount of things I can do now with just what I have. What's up, JW? Welcome in. How are you? Yeah, and, like, Andrew Tassmeyer, like, that direction is similar. I think finding a powerful software, whether it's cheap or not, like, you have to have the hardware, you have to have an iPad, but if you already have an iPad, yeah, the software's super cheap. Right, exactly. You can, if you need to be super simple or mobile, like, that's the way to go. I'm not mobile. I am here. I'm not taking my board anywhere. I am, you know, and so I have a lot of hardware that I need to integrate already. So for me, this made the most sense, but I'm really excited about just the possibilities. And yeah, it's going to keep me busy for a long time, both from a learning perspective, and then also I think it's going to be very inspirational as a music making tool for me. Yeah, I mean, you know, like, a big part for me that did just keep me from keep me from switching was just, like, the unfamiliarity with the layout. And there's the only way to deal with that is just to immerse yourself in it. There's definitely a lot So there's definitely a lot to learn. I'll probably have some questions for you, Dan, at some point. Like, what was I thinking about earlier? Just like, I guess, like, how, okay, so this was my first thought. My first question was, when you just have one session open that has all your samples, and you just stay in that session the whole time during your stream? And if so, like, so from song to song, how do you change the tempo? 'Cause if the project is open, it's set at a tempo, and so if you have like one song that's like 110, and then the next song is 80 or 130 or whatever, like, how do you deal with switching from song to song regarding the tempo, and then also like switching the presets or the channels, I guess, that you're using for your sounds? Like, what is that process like? That to me, that would be an interesting follow-up to your last Ableton video, would be to make like, here's how I actually do this on stream, to go from like song to song, or, you know, progressing through your stream like in that way. Because you're not playing like a like, you're not playing a show where the set list has been decided, right? So you have to be able to jump around and say, if somebody requests a song, like, you have to be able to, like, where is that information to know what your tempo is, what your key is, if you have stuff pre-recorded or whatever? Like, how do you just have that somewhere, or do you have it memorized, or like... First instance when starting is using an instance of Looper, which sets the tempo. So yeah, is that... So one session, clear the loops with MIDI mapped buttons. Okay. But is there a way to have within a session like a template for a song to say, like, I hit one button and it can use this drums in channel 2 and this keyboard sound in channel 5? That's what I'm wondering, is like, yeah, do most people do it all in one session and just jump around, or do you just open different sessions for each song? That's what I'm wondering, I guess. That's kind of my question. And what would be the advantages of each and disadvantages of each? I guess it depends, number one, on like how many. If you have a session with like a ton, then maybe, and you're playing 20 songs, maybe you have to break them up. But if you're just doing pretty simply, like a percussion channel, a drum loop channel, and then, you know, a guitar and a piano, like maybe less channels, like, or less tracks, maybe you don't need. Most people open different sessions. Gotcha. See, that just seems like something that I would want to have a tool to easily change and not have to manually do that. Like, if there was a part of, there was almost like, if there was a way to create a set list, or at least an easy way to access, like, you just have to literally go into like open set and find your file and load it. That just seems kind of a little bit inefficient to me. But anyway, yeah, that's just an idea for you. Take it or leave it. But I would be interested. I think it'd be an interesting video to make like a behind the scenes of how you stream, and say, this is how I start a song. This is the button I hit to clear the loops, and then while I'm talking, I'm looking up what the next song is to play, and then this is how I'm, like, you know, this is what I'm doing in the background, while the magic that I'm doing to get to the next thing. Because that's the question that I had, was just how do you like transition from song to song, especially particularly the way you do it, which is not a set list. It's based on people requesting, so you can't just have stuff lined up ready to go. Which that just, I mean, that's a credit to you and like your ability to just on the fly be like, oh yeah, that's for how many songs you have. Like, that seems exhausting to me, to have like a 10-song set list, and you have like 100 or more songs that you can just pull up and be like, okay, I'm ready to play this now. I think that's a talent in and of itself. Even watching some other people looping recently, it still just breaks my brain. This is the one thing I can't get, is just like, how can, like, it's hard enough for me. I can picture, like, you know, I can picture and understand a song when I listen to a song, like all the tracks and everything recorded, but it just really confuses my brain to figure out, like, so it's hard enough for me to like play the song live where I'm like strumming guitar and singing. That's enough for me. Like, I can't imagine what people like what you do, which is like having controllers and then, you know, starting a drum loop and then singing a part and then singing a harmony part and then pressing another button and then playing a guitar part and then playing a piano part and then singing again and then like mixing all those things together throughout the song. Just how do you remember like when to do all those things every time? Or even if it's a little bit different, still making it sound good. So either way, like, there has to be a skill level that, yeah, it's. I have watched him. Yeah, he's one of the people that I've been watching a little bit more. And again, like, he doesn't, at least from what I've seen, like, I would love to see a video where he just, the lights are all on and he's just walking you through, like, here's how I do this. Because I think that would help me kind of understand the mindset it takes to. I need to have everybody who loops like explain, here's what I'm doing, here's how I get to this point, or here's how to start doing this. Because you just see it all happening, and that's just overwhelming to me. Nice. Yeah, that'd be great. I don't know if I follow him on YouTube. Is he just Echolocations on YouTube? Or I might, but maybe I. And I guess my other question is, like, do you have the ability now to where you're watching somebody else looping and you can kind of understand what they're doing enough to say, like, oh, that's a cool, like, piece of what they're doing, I'm gonna integrate that one thing into my looping? Yeah, it's like, I want to watch those guys, but guys and girls, people, but it is just, it's frustrating for me to watch somebody do something that I can't figure out how they're doing it. So that's my problem. But I can't just listen to something and enjoy it. My brain is like, how are they doing that? And then if I can't figure it out, then I'm like. But yeah, I was watching Kendra Lissa yesterday, or Jerfo rated Kendra Lissa yesterday. So I caught the very end of Jerfo's stream, and then he rated into Kendra, and just watching her, I'm just like, she just looks so comfortable. It's just so, like, she's such a chill. But yeah, let me just hit this button, and then just everything sounds amazing, and it's just like, how do you get to that point? Like, how do you even start? How do you even start doing that? Is so baffling to me. Anyway, hope everyone's having a good week so far. I've been feeling kind of crappy this week. Yeah, because I was working on the studio, putting up these curtains all weekend. I had Monday off, but I was basically worked nonstop for 3 days to get stuff in the studio organized, and then woke up Tuesday just so sore. Holly Tatnell. Yeah, let me look her up. So I felt crappy Tuesday. I almost didn't stream, but I was like, I'm just gonna do it. And then had to go into the office yesterday, and then today I don't feel sick. I just feel like groggy, but it's mostly I think just because I stayed up too late last night. Like at one point I was setting this stuff up and saw that it was like almost midnight, and I was like, I'm just gonna play a little bit longer. I started playing guitar, and then all of a sudden it was like 1 a.m. It's like, whoops. And that doesn't usually happen to me, so that's kind of how when I realized like this is gonna keep me entertained for a while. Yeah, and then tomorrow I have to go to a funeral for my wife's grandmother who passed away the day after Christmas. So it's kind of been a bummer of a week, like with that looming tomorrow. But you know, it's the last grandparent of either of my wife or I that was alive. But she lived a long, good life, and it's obviously sad, but it's like, yeah, so we have a bunch of families flying in today. I'm probably going to be busy all weekend dealing with that stuff. Yeah, thanks. I mean, it's, I didn't know her that well, but, yeah, it's definitely still sad. It's just, but yeah, thank you. Yeah, so Holly Tatnall. Thermay's going crazy. If anybody has any questions about this, I explained a little bit about it earlier, but feel free. I can keep talking. I'm gonna follow Holly. She looks. It's a very looks like mostly. Oh yeah, she's got a keyboard. There's a lot of controllers. Looks like. Three or four controllers. And mic. Nice. But on the plus side, my youngest sister, is past her due date, and they're gonna induce her on Saturday if she doesn't go into labor before then. So I have a new niece coming any day now. So we're definitely excited about that. It's her first girl. She has 2 boys. So yeah. And all my siblings live pretty close, so that'll be fun. We'll go to see a new person. Oh, the other thing that I added was if anybody cheers, I think I basically set up what Andy used to have, which was like the text-to-speech thing. So if you want an automated voice to read a message on screen, it's if you tip or donate $1 or 100 minimum of 100 bits, which is $1, then you can put a message in and it'll read it on the screen. I'm like 99% sure that it's working, but I've only tested it, so not telling anyone to do it, but that is a new thing that hopefully will, yeah, just be a fun thing. I just remember like doing that on Andy's stream was one of the more fun. It's like it's a different level of interaction where it's one thing to chat, and like that's sometimes when there's a lot of chat the person misses it. So if you did, yeah, I was gonna ask because it should read the message when you sub. I just can't hear it because I'm not monitoring that channel. But I was gonna ask if you did that. Yeah, because that's what reminded me as I saw that you put a message in there. Sweet. So that means it should be working. So don't feel like you have to try it. But yeah. So if you sub, you can put a message in, and it'll read it. If you, yeah, and then 100 bits or more, or $1 or more tip, like whatever it's called, through Stream Elements. I don't even have my link for that anymore, but nobody really ever does that anyway. So I figured the bits is probably going to be the more popular thing. But doing that on AndyStream, it just added, like, it felt more like we were all there instead of everyone just kind of watching individually and chatting. So to me, it kind of just elevated the experience. I thought it was fun. And if that's too much, I can make it less. Like, it really doesn't matter. Dan, are you streaming today? I really like Andrea's stream. It's really fun and interactive, but not for ambient streaming, but lots of ideas. Yeah, usually lately she's been streaming super early. And same with you, Ken. It's like I know we're very different time zones, but I feel bad when I miss your streams, buddy. There's so many people that stream, like, and I'll get the notification in the morning. It's like after I went to bed. And I try to watch, the replay if I can, at least some of it. No, well, yeah, I was just curious. I thought you were. But I do want to raid you because you normally don't. I'm pretty much set, I think, for a while on Tuesday, Thursdays, and I know this isn't your normal week, so even though I just did, I'd rather do it again when I have the opportunity, because I think they'll be few and far between. I don't see my plan for now, as definite as it is in terms of going into the office, is I have to go in Monday, Wednesday, Friday, on most weeks, so that's why I'm streaming Tuesdays and Thursdays. Stream to record, yeah. Ken needs to move to Canada. I mean, that would be preferable. I would suggest moving there as opposed to coming to America at this point, yeah. I'm gonna have to start back in the office. What's up? What? Ah!
You fell for it.
I did.
Now my best friend.
You got me. Thank you. Yes. Alright. Can you make sure the door is closed? Can you go back? Mom might have to do it. One of my kids just came down and said, "Dad, guess what?" And I said, "What?" And she goes, "Chicken butt." I just tweeted that that's my kid's favorite joke right now. Bring your kids. Wait, so does that mean your streaming schedule might change? Is that what you're inferring? I'm gonna put some stuff in habit. No Dan changes for no. Okay, just checking. But yeah, so I'd rather raid you today because since it's not your normal schedule, I don't know when I'll get another chance to anytime soon. Plus, a lot of people don't like. There's not a lot of people on in the mornings. I know Jerfo start streaming at like 11, but you're like the perfect time for me to start streaming in the morning and then finish like a little bit like, right after you start. And everyone that's watching my streams is gonna go to you, go over to you anyway. So let's be honest. Yeah, I think I've realized that the reason that I kind of burned out last year was I was trying to squeeze it in at night when I was tired and, for like, yeah, just end of the day for me is I can definitely be creative, but I don't want to be like working, like I want to be like relaxing creative, like either, yeah, just not. That wasn't the best time for me to stream, but it was the only time I could realistically do it back then. So I tried to make it work, but it just got to be too much. So yeah, this kind of first thing in the morning, I feel suits this kind of music. People are just waking up. You just hang out and listen while people are starting out their day. I'm not a morning person, but I definitely find this preferable to late nights. And I feel like there's more time to extend the stream if I want to go a little longer. Whereas I was always rushing to get started at like 9:30, 10, and then because I couldn't just stay up super late. So, yeah, if there's a better time for people to watch, it's like I can't really, at this point anyway, I can't really think too much about that. But I appreciate, if anybody's here, then I'm super happy to be here. Like Alden was streaming a lot in the mornings last year, and I didn't want to be stepping on each other's toes all the time. But now, yeah, it seems like people aren't super consistent with the mornings. So like, yeah, just the thing, I just keep going back to this, like, I can make 10 different songs just by like changing the pattern on the sine wave or like what is being ramped, Mornings just work for my schedule, and nights are pretty crowded. Yeah, exactly. Like that. Yeah, that's the other thing is like, I think a lot of musicians do stream later in the day. But it does, like, yeah, it is super helpful to have a schedule. That was the other thing, was like my life was a little bit less predictable. In terms of like I was streaming the same times but randomly different day. I mean, I almost never got raided at night except by Billy, Infinite Third, once in a while. And I don't get raided in the morning either, but it's fine. I think this is habit is starting to get a little nuts. So something as weird is going on with my habit. I don't know if I set it to the wrong MIDI channel, but my turn this. But like, seems like the level is not controlling the output volume. Which I just... At some point, habit just kind of like gets out of control. Yeah, it is a chaos. I just need to have you stream after me. Yeah, actually, I've been wanting to sign up after you in the ambient fam Twitch raid things, or at least before or after you. Like, the only time I think that I could have done it was that first one, that then we changed the times and then you weren't able to do it later. And then the other two, have we done two? Two other, I forget. One or two, well yeah, I guess the other time and then this coming time. You've already got your spots filled up before and after. But it's fine. A few bad habits is all it takes. It doesn't feel like it's been an hour and a half already. Sometimes I feel like I've been streaming for a long time and then I look down and it's been like 20 minutes. But today's gone by really quick. Probably as soon as Dan goes live, we'll raid him, because I do have some work I need to do, unfortunately. Yeah, the other thing is, Ken. Yeah, that's next week. The other thing is, yeah, Friday the 13th. Gotta learn one week in a day to learn how to play guitar. Oh yeah, today's the day, right? Did it come yet? Or it's coming today, right? Your guitar? Should have remembered that. I did think of that yesterday, though. Ask you. I'm pretty sure you said Thursday. Ken, I was trying to say, I definitely want to schedule them different days and different times. Like, it's not going to be the same day and time forever. So if there's a better day or time frame that works for you, let me know. You can send me a message in Discord or something. Like, either the month of, like, I schedule it for the second week in the month, but the schedule opens up usually during the first week of the month. So if you want to let me know, maybe for February or March or whatever you have coming up, that you feel like, oh, I could do it this day or time. Like, we're totally open to doing different days, just to give other people a chance that maybe can't do it that time. So, got delivered yesterday. Ooh. Oh, nice. So it came early. Sweet. Yeah, that's awesome. So we're officially guitar twins, Robin and I. And well, I think pretty soon you're just gonna have like all the pedals that everybody has. Guitar can feel very, from the number of people that I've taught as beginners, like, it's very different from starting on like the piano. I mean, I guess any string, like starting on like violin or something is probably similar, or cello, but it's a very awkward feeling. It just takes a lot of repetitive practice to make your fingers feel not uncomfortable and weird. So, if for people learning, that's usually a big frustration point in the beginning, is like, how do you actually get your wrist and fingers to like bend that way and then stay there? But yeah, you just have to do it until your brain gets used to that feeling, and then it doesn't feel weird. Hermes going nuts. Sword training will aid me in that. I mean, maybe. They do call a guitar an axe, so I mean, yeah, I would say you probably have a head start on like finger strength, like because that's the other piece of it, is like, you know, not just the awkwardness of the position, but actually your fingers would get tired when you first start. You have to build up you know, calluses on your certain parts of your hands and fingertips, and then also just the electric makes it a lot easier. If you start on acoustic, that can really tire you out, but the electric is definitely a better to start on. But yeah, you probably won't, I would guess, even notice that as much as somebody just starting out without any. I would say the finger strength you probably have from gripping something like that is gonna help a lot. I didn't think of that, but that's really interesting. Alright, Dan is live. Let's go. See what Dan's doing. I at least want to wait until he's like on camera. He usually has a few minutes before he... Oh, there he is. Cool. Alright. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it for you as well. I think it'll be a fun opportunity, and the next evolution in your musical journey. Alright, well, thanks guys for hanging out. I'm gonna send you over to Dan. Yeah, see you guys. Might try to stream this weekend, but if not, probably not actually, with everything going on. I don't know, I may feel like it. I may feel like randomly jumping on sometime if I have time, but if not, I'll see you guys next week. And yeah, thanks for hanging out. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day and weekend. Let's go Bug Dan. Oh no, I realized I lost my audio sources. I gotta fix that so that you guys don't get the music cut off. Alright, I'll fix that for next time. See ya.